talk what others won't be talking about. Listen to us now, this mind's been filled in thoughtful round. We've got to let it out, we've got to let it go. Just wanna let you know.
Hey, welcome to Lesbeopen. And I'm your girl Tabs. What's up? What's good? And I don't know if I really want an intro. I think I'm kind of just chilling. I'm not really doing this in a more like formal podcast style, even though podcasts are kind of informal. I just want this to be a space where I can share, those intuitive messages that I be getting and those observations, and, just whenever Spirit want me to talk, to just talk. That's what I want this, to be, to share here. And I just got distracted by a text message. Might edit it out. I don't know. But yeah, I don't want to be too formal with it. Most of the time it's going to be me sitting here, propped up, sharing something I just received. And, maybe in the future I'll have somebody come in, talk with me. Because, sometimes the best message you can get is when going back and forth and having a banter with somebody. So, that might come in the future. But I know this is mainly not just a podcast, but this is me and what comes through. It's not just, me talking about topics. It's what, what my gut leads me to, prompts me to say, So, yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and put in the video. I just, wanted to get that off my chest. Yeah. See you in a bit. So, hi, coming to you live in my body. I was looking at my basil plant because that seems to be when a lot of messages, just observations come into play. And I started thinking about how some of the leaves on my plant got holes in them. Some of them got little some of them look a little dingy. Like, it's not that they're not edible. They edible, but they don't look 100%. Some of them got a little discoloration maybe at the bottom, a little brown at the tip. They don't look perfect. And, as I was looking at the basil leaves, I thought to myself how sometimes, when it's time for me to pick them, I'll discard the ones that aren't looking 100%. They got the ones that got little holes maybe. I'll go and I'll put them to dry. I put them to dry because I don't just discard them. I put them to dry out. Sometimes I will discard them though. Even though I could simply just cut around it, right? And it dawned on me that sometimes we do that with people. How, we see these people and we've learned to just we picked up a habit of protecting ourselves to the point where it's like, when we have a batch of leaves presented in front of us, we discard them immediately, and any signs of any imperfections on them, right? Maybe something slight that you may disagree on. Something that, doesn't meet, whatever standards you have in place. Don't get me wrong, having standards is important, but sometimes we can be a little rigid with them, and we use it as a reason to immediately push people out of our lives and isolate ourselves further, because at the end we're scared to let the wrong person come in, get too close. And so we look for any signs of imperfections, any little holes, any discolorations, any little, brown tips, just so we can have a reason to say, nope, not letting that person in, nope, not letting them get close to me, nope, not giving them a chance. Whether it be romantic, platonic. And, we oftentimes don't think about how, hey, none of us are perfect. Not even I myself am perfect. And what's really important is that people are constantly working on themselves, you know, that you meet a person that's working on themselves, and that, you know, and I'm not gonna go too intricate into detail, because you do have to be careful nowadays. You do have to be careful. You can't just get with anybody. You can't just let anybody into your space. But it's also not the healthiest to push every single person away at the slightest, you know, sight of what you might perceive as a problem. And sometimes it's not a problem. You know, sometimes it could be just an excuse that you're making, right? I'm gonna use something. I'm gonna use something a little example. Something like, oh, I'll only date in the age ranges of, I don't know, 25 to 30, for example. Or I only date in the age ranges of 30 to 32, right? Making this real specific standard that you have in place, right? Very real specific. And when you really think about it and you look at it, it's like, should this really be a determining factor for me? Somebody's age range? Don't get me wrong, I think it's good maybe to have a general idea. Like, hey, I don't want to date an 80-year-old when I'm 20. I think that's fair. But if we start getting to specifics, like, I'm only dating someone from 30 to 32 because the last time I dated somebody that was 35, they fucking broke my heart. Now you see how it's like two completely different examples we given here. And, you know, when you say it in a general way, like when I said it in a general way, like, oh, you can't just judge somebody off the bat because of their age, it can be taken any which way. So that's why I was making a specific example. I think it's something that really varies on each person. You know, I understand we all have our reasons for things, but sometimes you got to think about what you're, you know, you got to be able to reevaluate what you're, you know, what those specifications are, those standards are you have, and evaluate whether that's something that you're putting in place to try to keep people away, or if it's something that you're putting in place to bring the right person in. You know, are you discarding the whole leaf because it has a minor imperfections, or are you discarding the leaf because that shit's fucking rotten? You see the difference? It's two different ball games right there. If the leaf is still edible, then maybe you shouldn't discard it. Maybe you should just put it out to dry. Maybe it's not, you know, I think it's important to put people in the places that they belong, whether that means let them in close, keep them afar, or just leave them alone altogether. I think it's worth exploring each of those options instead of the two extremes of, yes, they can come in, and no, they absolutely cannot come into my life. Depends on the situation, though. Don't get me wrong. Some people are extremely unhealthy. You shouldn't have them in your life. Some people really be disturbing your peace, and you don't really need to have that kind of negativity in their life. I think it all depends on what season we're in. Each person is different. You know, we all come with our baggage, right? With our little carry-ons, our little luggage of the problems and the trauma that we've been through. And I'm not even speaking personally for myself right now. I'm speaking just because that's what I was guided to speak on. Sometimes you're not putting up boundaries, you're putting up walls. Are those walls really serving you if you're blocking yourself out from everything? You know, it's like if I put this plant in a box in order to protect it from, you know, bugs that might want to try to nip at it, or from getting too harsh of a sun to dry it out. But if I put it in this box, it won't get no light. It'll be devoid of light. It'll be devoid of water. It'll be devoid of, I'm not sure if it's oxygen in the air, but you know what I'm saying. And now it's going to just fucking die because it's in a box. It's just sitting in a box. It's going to die. Because, yeah, you might be trying to make sure that no bugs try to harm your plant, but at the same time, you are harming yourself by putting yourself in these built-in walls, because you're not letting yourself get water by the sunlight that you need, by the, you know, the actual water that you need. And that's why balance is important. And it's really hard. It's really hard to try to sit here and balance, you know, letting the right people in and assessing, you know, who should be close and who should be not. It's so fucking hard trying to do all this, you know, this great juggling act. But at the same time, do you really want to kill yourself off with your self-imposed, walls that you've built? Do you really want to starve yourself? And it's extremely hard to let down those guards, because there is bugs that be trying to immediately try to get at you. Don't get me wrong, it's hella toxic people, hella unhealthy individuals that the minute they see, your guard is even slightly down, they will come and attack. They will try to take advantage. They will try to eat at your leaves, attack your roots. So that's why it's one of those things where, honey, you really just, you got to be able to let the guard down, but still be equipped with the right armor and the right, tools. Make sure you have that gun on deck, that machete on deck, metaphorically. But also physically, yes, stay strapped up, sis. Be ready. But at the same time, don't sit here and try to, immediately shoot everybody that come your way. I'm talking more metaphorically. Don't try to gun down every single person that may come your way, because you don't know who's a threat. Because not everybody is a threat. Yeah, that's what I had to say for today. So, fuck with your girl on the gram. Let's be open. I write poetry on there and authentic shit too. Yeah, come fuck with your girl, come vibe with your girl. I do this probably every couple of weeks, so whenever I feel called to, whenever the messages kind of just come and I can't ignore them, because Spirit said you need to just say what you gotta say. Yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one.